but it was too late. That we may be hid in the day of the Most High's anger. Just what we want to be. Look, I hope you want to be here. Look at, let's go to Job first. Job 5 and 11. You want to be hid? That's how we want to be hid. But you got to work toward this. So we are worthy to be hid in the day of the Most High's anger. Job, the 5th chapter, and verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7, there shall no evil touch thee. This is being hid from the Most High's anger. In famine, let you know it's going to be food shortages. They're talking about this right now. It's happening right now in some places. In famine, he shall redeem thee from death. And in war, from the power of the sword. Because there'll be wars all over. They're already in certain places. But he said he's going to deliver certain ones of us from the sword. Thou shalt be hid, that's what he said. You can be hid and when? In the time of the Most High's anger. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. What they saying? Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. When the anger of the Most High bring forth his forces on this earth. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. You got to be in a certain spirit and safe when this happens. But if you out of the spirit and you can't look for this and you worldly and you're not spiritually trying to be able to know what it's going to take to please the Most High, who's angry and is coming back with his anger, but you think he's going to be pleasing to you, but you're going to be worldly. You dealing with whatever you dealing with this world and not spiritually, because he's a spirit. And the only way you're going to worship him how is in spirit and in truth. You operate in your own way and think it's okay and not according to thus say the Most High's word, this way of life that he's given us in these last days through all these different means of life and topics and so forth, and you haven't taken the time to know, but you're going to be saved from your enemies and from the hand of all that hate you, this applies to you, and you're not doing your due diligence, and haven't done due diligence and say, okay, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, I did that, and it still ain't enough. If you think like that, therefore we try to be doing more. More things will be put in the books. When the books are open, everybody going, everything we done going to be read from the books. And he got another book called the Book of Life. That you've done enough that the Most High find you worthy to put your name in the Book of Life. Verse 21 said, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. The anger of the Most High upon this earth, when it come, it's at destruction. The anger from the anger of the Most High and famine that the Most High say you're going to cause, thou shalt laugh. That's what we want to be. This is what I'm working to be. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh. Be happy. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. The beast going to be hungry too. The famine and food shortage, they ain't going to have enough to eat. They're going to be starting eating people. They're going to be yum, yum, yum. Y'all look good to me. They're going to be eating them up. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. That's what we want to be. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field. And the beasts of the field, beasts of the world, shall be at peace with thee. See that? And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle, our bodies, shall be in peace. That's what we want. And thou shalt visit the habitation and shalt not sin. So you think you're going to not follow the Most High's law? Sin is the transgression of the Most High's law. And you're going to be here? I don't think so. All you that's saying that, you saying, I don't have to follow you, Most High. You praying to yourself. You ain't praying to him. How you going to pray to him and you done told from your mind to your mouth to your actions that we not under his law. He got something for you. That's why you got to repent and keep his commandments and fear him. You see what's coming back to anger of the Most High. That we may be hid in the time of the Most High's anger. Thou shalt know also that thy seed, our lineage, our children shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Like you say, one gonna be for 1,000. The offspring gonna be as the grass of the earth. It's beautiful. So, when we look at Isaiah, well, let's go to, we're gonna be hid, right? Let's go to Revelations 11 chapter, 12th verse. We want to be hid, right? So, let's go to a little prophecy, Revelation 11 and 12. And it reads, get there, Revelation, bear with me, Revelation 11 and 12. It says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. We're going to be hid from the anger of the Most High, right? So you heard a voice from heaven saying to them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, which, let's see what the cloud is. Go to Psalms 104 and 3. It's being hid from the Most High's anger. Psalms 104 and 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots. So the clouds are the chariots and vehicles of the angels. What they call UFOs, we call them IFOs, identified flying objects. They call them flying saucers and so forth, spinning around. Who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Right? So, that's what we're looking at. So, the clouds are the chariots of the Most High. So when you look at Psalm 68 and 17, it says the chariots of the Most High, which are the clouds, hip talk, the chariots of the Most High, the flying saucers, the IFO, identified flying objects, they call them unidentified flying objects, but we know what they are. That's why we sung the song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming for to carry me home. Looked over Jordan, which is where? In Israel, runs down in Israel. And what did I see? A band of what? Angels coming for me. So we knew this. Those are songs that we created as the Israelites in slavery. So don't nobody fool you. Some of us knew that we were still Israelites. Because listen, Psalm 68 and 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000. Even thousands of angels. See that? Thousands of angels. And the Most High is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. See? Most High is among them. So, going back to Revelation 11 and 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, in these IFOs, these identified flying objects, which are the angels. When he told us in Revelation 9:16, how many is going to come to get us? And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them, which is 200 million angels that's coming to deliver us, the children of Israel. And we're going to go up in these chariots of the Most High with the angels. Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, in the chariots of the Most High. And their enemies beheld them, right? So our enemies going to see us go up in these clouds. All these enemies that were named in Psalms 83rd chapter, and all the enemies that we look at that we went into captivity on. Since we're in Revelation, go to, so we ascended first Let's deal with this cloud. We're sitting, our enemies beheld us, right? So now, go to Isaiah. We're going to the chariots. The chariots coming down to get us. 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel. So once we ascend into these IFOs, go to Isaiah 26 and 20. You can understand to the precept. This will happen. Come, my people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel. 1/3, mind you. Enter thou into thy chambers. So we're going to enter into these clouds, which are the angels, which are the IFOs, flying saucers and so forth, as they know them as. And shut thy doors about thee. Like the Most High shut the door of the ark. With Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives, 8 people. We're going to shut the doors in the chariots. They're going to be set as the angels, 200 million, coming down to deliver us from all over the world. He said, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, into these IFOs, these chariots, these with the angels of the Most High. And shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were, how long? For a little moment, until the indignation, the anger of the Most High, that he just said, be overpassed, right? You're going to put us in these chariots. You're going to be up in the chariots as the anger of the Most High, the indignation of the Most High, the fury of the Most High, the destruction of the Most High is overpassed, he said. For behold, the Most High cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity, for their wickedness. So you think you're going to do whatever you want to do if you want to. Most High going to get you. He's going to punish the earth, the people on the earth, for their iniquity, for their wickedness. The earth also shall disclose her blood from people, and shall no more cover her slain. Woo. I mean, ain't nobody being buried no more. So now, we go up to them chariots. Our enemy's gonna see us up in the chariot, going up in the chariots. Now, when you go to Wisdom of Solomon, what they gonna say? They looking at us. We going up into the air in these chariots, these vehicles that they wonder at. They call UFOs, unidentified flying objects. We call them IFOs, identified flying objects. We knew what they are and know what they are now. So what they gonna say? Let's go look at Wisdom of Solomon 5. Let's start at verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness in the face, before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors, like free labor and slavery, for all those hundreds of years. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. When they see us standing boldly in their face, they're going to be troubled with terrible fear, no matter how you look at it. It's real, y'all. And shall be amazed at the strangeness of their salvation. So it says our enemies going to they're going to see us going up in these clouds, these chariots. We just looking at what they're going to say. They're going to be amazed at the strangeness of their salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit. And our enemies looking up at us, going up in these chariots, in these clouds, which are the chariots of the Most High, which are the IFOs, the vehicles, the angels bringing us into the air. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, these enemies of the Most High and enemies of the children of Israel, shall say within themselves. This is what they're going to say. As they see us being lifted up into the chariots of the Most High, they're going to say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. You hear this? How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? They screaming. This is an exclamation point. Exclamation point. Therefore have we erred. This is what they're going to say. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth. What's the truth? Let's sing it together. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So they're going to err. They've erred. That's past tense, y'all. From this point on to the time that salvation is coming to the Israelites. This is what they're going to say. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, way of keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. That's the truth. And we know the righteousness, we read it in Deuteronomy 6:25, to observe to do all the Most High's commandments. Therefore they're going to say, therefore have we erred from the way of truth. And the light of righteousness, which is keeping of the Most High's laws, as the truth is, have not shined unto us, because the Most High gave his laws to Jacob, passed down to the Israelites. He have not dealt so with any other nation. His judgments and statutes and judgments only to the Israelites. He have not dealt so with any other nation. That's what they're going to say. The way, the light of righteousness, and you know that light, look at Proverbs 6:23, is the laws of the Most High too. Of righteousness, righteousness is the laws of the Most High, have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. No matter how much you teaching them until the time that our enemies looking at us, if it's Most High will, if it's us, going up in the air in these chariots, in the clouds, and with the angels, this is what they're going to say. Verse 7. Y'all need to remember this one, because I say it all the time. But sometimes it goes over people's heads. The brothers need to really pay attention to this. He say, just what they're going to say as the enemies looking at us go up. Israelites, I might say. Hopefully we are a part of that. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Everywhere they go is wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. And my second shall say, I'm the way. In St. John 14:6. We've gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, the way of Elohim, the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, we have not known it. This is what they're going to have a chance to say. As we read in here, as they watching our enemies beheld us and say, come up hither. Enemies going to beheld us going up to be off this earth. As for the way of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, we have not known it. That's past tense from this point to the time that he's bringing his salvation to this earth. The righteousness to this earth. So what has pride profited us? Remember it say they have lifted up their head in Psalms 83rd chapter? That's pride. So what has pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? They got all this money. Just tell you in Obadiah 17, go on all their possessions. Say, what has it profited us? Now that salvation is coming to the children of Israel. All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by, and as a ship that passes over the waves of the water, which when it goes by, when it's gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found. You don't even know no trip went by. This is what they're saying they're going to be like. Neither the pathway of the keel in the waves. Or as when a bird have flown through the air, flapping his wings, there is no token of her way to be found. But the light air, being beaten with the stroke of her wings, imparted with the violent noise and motion of them, is passed through, and therein afterwards no sign where she went is to be found. That's what they're looking at themselves. Once that bird flaps his wings, the little air that it brings forth, go through, there's no token that a bird even flew by. That's how they're going to be. Or like as when an arrow is shot at a mark. You shoot an arrow at a mark. It parted the air. It's parting the air as it's going to reach its target, which immediately cometh together again, so that a man cannot know where it went through. You're not going to even know where the arrow went through. Just what they're saying. As our enemies beheld us, going up in these chariots. Even so, we, in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. Hear that? They were consumed in their own wickedness. That's what they're saying. But y'all gonna make them righteous. The elite I'm talking about, that's controlling everything. Got y'all, everybody like a puppets on here. That ain't following the Most High's rules and regulations. Where the Most High is covering them under his wings. For the hope of the unrighteous is like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin frost that is driven away with the storm, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a tempest when the fire is burning strong and passes away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but for a day. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Most High, and the care of them is with the Most High. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Most High's hand. For with his right hand, Amashiach Yahushai, shall he cover them. See that? You're going to cover them. And with his arm shall he protect them. See? So, going back to Revelations, as our enemies beheld us going up in these chariots, verse 13, 11 and 13. And the same hour, remember it told us to come into our chambers, shut the door for a moment, a little moment, till the ignorant day should be overpassed. So now, in the same hour, as we going up in these chariots as the Israelites, 1/3, mind you, a remnant, in the same hour, that hour, keep that in mind, was there a great earthquake. And the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, 7 number of completion. And the remnant were frightened. The remnant, see that remnant is that 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel. And gave glory to the Most High power of heaven. Gonna be praising the Most High. Now, since we're in Revelation, let's go to Revelation 13, 9 and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. You can hear what the Most High is saying. Hear this. He that leadeth into captivity, all nations that led us into captivity, shall go into captivity. So we're in captivity under mostly all these nations. They going into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. It's amazing because Esau was blessed with the sword and the fattest of the land. And he lived by the sword. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. That's pretty deep. So look at, hold that, get Revelations 19 and 11. This is Mashiach coming to judge and make war. It says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. Remember it said in that same hour, right? They should going to come down, right? For an hour. Remember we say go into the chambers just for a moment, right? And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, pure righteous power, and he that sat upon him was Mashiach was called faithful and true, coming to his angelic power. He ain't come back as a man. Told you that in Isaiah 47 and 3. He gonna meet you as a man. And in righteousness, we know righteousness is the keeping of the Most High's laws. He does judge and make war. Hear that? So he's judging you by what you have done, whether you followed the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, or you didn't. Well, let's jump down to verse 14. It said, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. They're going to be pure righteous power. Clothes, they got clothes on, y'all, not but naked angels. And fine linen. They're going to have linen. How does linen going to look? White and clean. Listen, and out of his mouth go a sharp sword. What did it say? Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's a patient in the faith of the saints, what, the 12 tribes of Israel, must be killed with the sword. So let's see what's coming out of his mouth. He come to judge and make war. Mashiach Yahushua. Revelation 19 and 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it, with this sharp sword, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, but with this sharp sword, that with it, he shall smite or kill, who? The nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. The laws of the Most High. That's righteousness. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power, the Most High power. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look, so when you look at Revelation 18, the chapter before, he said, and talking concerning Babylon or America or the system of things of those, the elite that's running everything, Revelation 18 and verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. What's going to come? Death and mourning and famine. Food shortage. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Most High power who judges her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her when they're gonna be crying and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. This is what these nations that have all these ships that's out there in the ocean waiting right now gonna say, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, America, and the system, and elite that's running everything in this earth under the power of Satan. Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. You see how it all fits together? It all flows together. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. Finished. Verse 17, for in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught. 1 hour, so great riches come to nothing. And every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? What city is like unto America? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city America, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. There it is. Shut thy doors about thee to the indignation of the Most High. Just for a moment, it said, for 1 hour, until the indignation of the Most High passed by. So now, that's why he said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's why the Spirit of the Most High, hallelujah, right there, Jeremiah 30 and 16. All praise the Most High. Wow. I say that because I turned the page and I'm thinking of something, and then there it is right here. Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Yasharala. All they that devour us, gonna be devoured. And all thine adversaries, all our enemies, every one of them shall go into captivity. Like we've been dealing with, who was in captivity on these Egyptians, so-called Africans. They go into captivity too. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. as it is written. Isaiah 14 and 1 to 3. Isaiah 14, 1 to 3. Where the Most High will have mercy, which is not getting something that you do deserve, under who? On Jacob. And will yet choose Israel. He's going to yet choose the Israelites, who we are, and set them in their own land. The Most High going to set us in our own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them. These other nations going to be joined with them. They're going to be joined with us. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now look, go to, hold that. Because we got to come back here. But go to Zechariah 8:21. So they're going to be cleaving to us. Mind you, I haven't went through how much Jacob shy, but I went through it a few times before, and how he's going to destroy these nations. You can go to, it's in a lot of places in the Bible. They even know if you go to, matter of fact, let me just get right to the point. Let me show you what, I like to go to what they have said about themselves. Real quick, let's go to Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's look up Edom. Because Edom is the superpower of the earth that will be ruling the earth in the last days. And all those enemies and haters of the Most High, the Africans were part of them. So-called Africans, the Hamites were part of them. But let's get Edom, because Edom is the superpower of the earth that all kingdoms are falling under and following. So what it says about Edom in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, it says Edom, let's see. Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures, this future prophecies, as the scene of great future judgments. You see notably Isaiah 34 and 5 and 6, and Isaiah 63:1. You can read down from Isaiah 63:1 down. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. I read it again. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. The only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. So now that it said the Most High going to put us in our own land, and the strangers going to be joined us to them, and we're going to put them in their own land. Now let's look at Zechariah, 8th chapter, 23rd verse. What are they going to be saying? Thus said the Most High of hosts, Most High of armies. In those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, all these other nations that speak all these different languages, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew. You're going to be holding on to our fringes. We that are Israelites, saying, what? We will go with thee, we will go with you. But we have heard that the Most High is with you. See? That's what they're going to be cleaving to us. Because they're going to hear and know that the Most High is with us, the Israelites. You following the story, right? The Spirit is leading you right to a story that should be pretty simple to understand. If not, rewind it, go over it again, and see what he's saying. Isaiah 14:1, for the Most High will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So Most High going to do this. Set us in our own land. And once he burn it up, to purify it, the New Jerusalem going to come down from heaven and be right there where the Most High going to set us in our own land. And the strangers, these other nations, shall be joined with them. Other nations going to be joined with us. You see what they're going to say? We just read what they're going to say. They're going to say that we know the Most High, we heard the Most High is with you. They're going to be cleaving to us. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. There it is. And the people shall take them, these other nations, and bring them to their place. We're going to put them where they're going to be at. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for service and handmaids, men slaves and women slaves. But not in the kingdom like you can see how It is here. All the abominations, we're not going to be doing any abominations, but they're going to serve as servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. We're going to rule over all those, like we read about how Pharaoh made the taskmasters, who are the overseers over the prophets of the Most High, serving hard bondage by taking away our straw, and still say we got to make the same amount of bricks that we made when they gave us the straw. We got to go find the necessary things to make our bricks on our own, and still go out there and find them, and then make sure that we make enough bricks as we done when they was giving us the straw. And when we didn't, they beat us, as we heard and read. So yeah, they go into captivity too. And it shall come to pass, well, everybody's in captivity, slavery, and bondage. We the new IRS, Israelites receiving services. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, when he have mercy on us and set us in our own land. He gonna give us rest from our sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. See? That's who gonna have rest. Now that we in the kingdom, let's go to Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of strangers, these other nations, outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, shall build up thy walls. They're going to build. They learn how to build right now, right? We're not hardly involved in that, so they learning how to build, so they're going to build up our walls. And their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, and his wrath he smote us, the children of Israel. But in my favor have I had mercy on thee. We just read it. How you going to have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel and set them in their own land? Isaiah 14 and 1. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. Like I said, we're going to be the new IRS, y'all. Yasharala. They're going to be working for the Israelites. And that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Say, yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. You see? Verse 14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee, the sons of those that afflicted us, shall come bending unto thee. Remember they say they're going to grab a hold to our skirts, our fringes on our skirts. He said, we're gonna cleave to you, because we know we heard that the Most High is with you. They're going to realize this. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Most High, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated. You see that? So we all get love out of that one. He said we've been forsaken and hated as a people, so that no man went through thee. Where our banks at? Everybody's running to us, to come through us. Where our stores and our ghettos and places where we live at now. The stranger within thee shall get above thee. He shall lend to thee. We shall not lend to him. He shall be the head. We shall be the tail, it says in the curses. So it says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Oh yeah. Verse 18, violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting or destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, power, rulership, and authority. And thy gates praise. It's beautiful. It's worth it. So, I mean, look at it however you want to look at it. But the Most High, I know this might shock some of you. Go to Isaiah 40 and 17. Isaiah 40 and 17. This is how the Most High feel about all these other nations. He said, all nations, including these Hamites, these so-called Africans that had us in captivity, slavery, and bondage, all nations before him are as nothing. I mean, I know bringing it out, a lot of you gonna have an attitude with me, but you gotta take it up with the Most High. Because that's what I represent. I represent him and what he brought forth in his word for us today. See, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Thus say the Most High. Verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, a little drop that fall from a bucket, and are counted as the dust, small dust. Now let me get it right. The small dust of the balance. That's small dust that be on the scale. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. The people in the islands, he take them as a very little thing. Thus say the Most High. You see? So, when you understand Galatians 6 and 7. Galatians 6 and 7. How the Most High feels in dealing with us, his chosen people, and these other nations. I don't know, our people, we so, excuse me,